Dude, if they have to pee, they have to pee. You're an enabler.
Always, now go before they burn something. This is coming from, how come you know so much about volleyball now?
Anime. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
It was only a couple of words, but you noticed a lilt in his voice. The vowels softly rose and fell, lending him a melody that rendered even the simplest of sentences. A foreign exchange student, maybe? There were plenty of those at Rheinmeyer. Hi, that's what I'm supposed to ask you, actually.
Pardon?
Raina sent me over. She said I'm supposed to help you with whatever you need. He nodded once, before placing the tray on the stovetop and shaking off the oven mitt.
I see. I've got it covered, but thank you.
She said you'd say that. I'm supposed to insist on helping you. But between you and me, I don't really want to be put to work. So this is me, insisting. What can I do? He raised a brow as he thought, but after a moment, he nodded a second time.
Well, I put the last batch in already, so all that's left is decorating.
Okay. There was barely any space on the counter when you joined him, thanks to the wire racks crowded with rows and rows of cupcakes. And none of them were already frosted, but there were plenty that hadn't been decorated yet. I'm starting to see why Raina told me to come help.
Waiting for the cupcakes to cool was the most time-consuming part. We'll be done in time.
He gestured to a row of piping bags filled with a rainbow of different colored frostings.
Do you know how to use these?
No. You didn't, and you let him know as much. You didn't, but you pretended otherwise. Luckily you did know. I have no idea. Not the slightest. It's not too late to learn, is it?
It never is. Here, I'll teach you.
You selected a bag of yellow buttercream, and you choose a periwinkle one.
Follow after me. This creates a simple rosette.
And picking up a cupcake, you placed the nozzle at the center. You copied him, waiting for the next step.
Apply a little pressure, slowly, at first, until you get a feel for it. Keep the bag at the same angle, and spiral outward until you reach the edge.
He did just that, and you watched as a yellow rose formed on top of the cupcake.
The nozzle does most of the work. You just have to keep a steady pressure and speed.
You made it look way too easy. You followed his instructions to the best of your ability. Maybe the first swirl was a little wonky, but he was right. The star-shaped nozzle shaped frosting for you. And in the end, you still had a pretty periwinkle rosette to call your own.
Good job.
Witchcraft.
I can assure you it is not. And for this style...
You know that one of the finished cupcakes was flour that was made of layered petals instead of a continuous swirl.
You need one of the flat-tipped bags. For these, you pull each petal individually from the center. The petals can be wide or narrow. When you've gone around the outer edge, you offset the next layer, and then you simply repeat the steps.
His hand moved fluidly as he spoke, and within seconds, he had 3 layers of blush orange petals piped onto the cupcake.
Then, color the center with whatever you think pairs best. And that's it.
Now I want cupcakes. He nodded for you to try, and you picked up a cupcake and a bag of pink frosting. Very good color choice. The first petal came out much too fast, smooshing unevenly and almost dribbling off the side. Oops. He chuckled, not unkindly, as he reached for a bit of paper towel. Once you wiped the mistake away, you tried again with a lighter touch. The shape came out closer to what you had in mind this time, and you dared to continue. Just by looking at it, your lack of confidence was clear. But the layers were there, and you even managed some small dots of yellow in the center. Hey, I did it!
Congratulations. Now, do that all over again, about a few dozen more times. You can carry on then. I'll deal with the finishing touches.
Returning to a rack of half-decorated pieces, he picked up a piping bag and settled in. Wherever his attention turned, leaves and petals unfurled in flicks of effortless color. Bit by bit, he cultivated a garden out of frosting. Vanilla and sugar wafted through the air, making the scene even more convincing. You're really good at this. You handed over a cupcake with a rosette on it, and he tended to it quickly, creating a cluster of wavy-edged leaves. I'd hope so. I've been doing this for a long time. How long we talking? 10 years? Maybe 11? I hope you're getting paid for this at least. Are you? No, but I'm not the one who's been baking cupcakes for a few hours, so... I see. Well, today I'm simply honoring a favor. That's a very big favor to call in. You cracked a wry smile and you grinned right back, before realizing that you'd skipped a crucial step. Before I forget again, I'm Connor, they, him pronouns.
You can call me Jamie. He, him.
Something tickled the back of your mind when you heard that. Jamie? Jamie Oliver? The cook?
Yes.
Oh no, it's just... I can't quite put my finger on it, but your name reminded me of... something.
It's an average name.
No, there's something like... Then your stomach decided to rumble and your train of thought screeched to a halt. There was no way Jamie hadn't heard it, but he kept piping with his eyes demurely lowered and his mouth shut. Demurely. You clamped your own mouth shut and reached for another piping bag. Of course, your stomach grumbled again, even louder this time. I suppose I'm hungrier than I realized.
What makes you think that?
He reached over to hand you yet another unfrosted cupcake.
Have one.
Can I really? Isn't this for the party? You didn't wait a single second. Chomp. Aw, no frosting. You made sure to thank him first before digging in. Nah, chomp.
The cupcake was light, but decadent, sitting on your tongue with a distinct floral flavor.
It was sweet, of course, but not cloying. Something that Jamie seemed to already know as he blinked expectantly at you. It tastes like a flower.
That was the plan, yes. Any more notes?
You shook your head slowly, concentrating on your next bite. It was a glowing review in and of itself, and Jamie smiled to himself as he turned back to his work. Suddenly, there was a rattling sound, and you leaned to look through the archway into the dining area. Two silhouettes stood at the back door, rattling the handle to no avail.
Damn it, it's locked.
Told you. Reyna said no one's allowed in until the party starts.
Dude, I have to piss so bad. You don't have a spare key? No. What if we find her now? She might walk you in.
Ugh. You glanced at Jamie, but he hadn't moved an inch. Should we do something about that?
No.
There wasn't a shred of hesitation in Jamie's voice. While you looked between him and the door, the silhouette shrank away from the curtain, as the unfortunate volunteers gave up and left. Why not?
I don't want people in here.
Reina's words from earlier resurfaced, skittish like a bunny. It didn't strike you as the timid type after talking, but now you were starting to wonder if there was something else going on. Still, there were few things I felt as bad as being unable to find a bathroom on time. What would the volunteer do? Beg Reina to let them in? Drive all the way back to campus? Be quick, in and out, simple as that. If you opened the door now, you could still get their attention. There had to be a reason. Reina kept the house off limits. You'd keep the door locked. Dude, if they have to pee, they have to pee. I hate it when I have to pee and there's no toilet. So, if there's nothing for the volunteers, no outside toilet or whatever, then fuck you, Rainer. Fuck you, Reina. And I'm gonna let them in. I don't care. It'll only be a minute.
You're making a mistake.
What are they gonna do? Jamie's delicate features hardened into statuesque disapproval, the emeralds of his eyes dulling as you walked into the dining area. Undeterred, you unlocked the door and pulled it open, sticking your head out in time to spot two students about to disappear around the porch corner. Hey! They turned, one student in particular lighting up with desperate relief, and hurried back to the door. You're a lifesaver! Where's the bathroom? There's probably one... They zipped into the hallway without waiting for the rest, vanishing to the left before doubling back a moment later.
Hey, thanks for that. I wasn't looking forward to trying to fight Rainer in time.
No problem. You stepped back as the second volunteer wandered idly past you. After making sure the door was shut, you sidled by them towards the kitchen, with half a mind to get back to your own task. As the both of you entered, you realized that Jamie was gone.
Oh yo, Cupcakes! Did you do all this?
They leaned around you to oogle the spread, and you looked around an empty room. A halfway empty piping bag was on the island, as well as a partially decorated cupcake. No, I just started helping with the decorations.
Yeah? Who made them then?
You call out for Jamie. You don't mention no, leave him alone. Leave him in a social anxiety alone. Something about Jamie's swift exit gave you pause, and you couched your answer in a little lie of omission. Someone who owed Rainer a favor.
That's why we're all here, am I right?
They chuckled conspiratorially, and you glanced aside. But you're in the student government, aren't you?
Well, yeah. Still, I'm here way earlier than I need to be.
You, quietly, resisting the urge to look over your shoulder. The kitchen was empty, and Jamie had to have gone through the main hall. Where'd he gone exactly? A muffled voice interrupted the conversation, as well as the sound of a door swinging shut harder than it needed to. You couldn't quite hear the words, but you could hear the pitch which trailed upwards to an oddly high register before fading. Then there were approaching footsteps, and Jamie came back from the hallway, followed by a student who'd gone looking for the restroom. Whoa, Jamie!
Hello.
Oh yeah, he's famous. He offered the most fleeting of smiles before stepping past into the kitchen. He barely made eye contact with you as he slipped by, and with a few long strides, he placed himself back behind the island. The two volunteers seemed to have forgotten why they were here, as they pushed by you to trail after him. No, fuck off! You followed up the rear, but all the three of you paused as Jamie put a hand up.
Please, stay on that side of the kitchen. I'm still working on these. You've been in here making cupcakes the whole time?
Man, if we told people it was Jamie in the kitchen, our guest list would have exploded. Ah, what's with the music? Oh god, horror! I need to get them out of here. As they spoke, the second student reached out, and Jamie smoothly plucked the half-decorated cupcake off the island counter before they could touch it. He picked up the piping bag with his other hand, finishing the rosette on top instead of replying. Didn't help much. If anything, it gave the volunteers something else to talk about.
I swear, these things look almost too good to eat. Almost.
But really, you could have asked Raina for help. This is so much to handle all by yourself.
It wasn't difficult, a little time-consuming.
Jamie's sentences were oddly short and quiet, but the low volume of his voice seemed to encourage the two to crowd a little closer.
Come on, you make it look easy, that's all.
I know I could never do this much detail. The last time I had to decorate cupcakes, I just spread the frosting with a knife. The giggle twirled and pitched into a high octave, just as the oven timer went off. Can I just kick them out, please? Can I please do something? Jamie reached to turn it off, picking up an oven mitt and opening the door. Are you sure you're not on a food science program? I mean, I know, if there was a pastry degree or something, you'd be in it.
More like teaching it at Jamie Porter on the faculty. The school would be swimming in tuition fees.
They laughed, bumping each other's shoulders with easy, raucous humor. You shuffled to one side to keep from getting jostled, when what they said replayed in your mind. Jamie Porter. What was it Raina said? You'd know him unless you lived under a rock. You knew what the campus rumors said, of course. Somehow you'd gone almost 2 full years without seeing the man yourself. But you heard things here and there about a certain transfer student whose smile charmed anyone in a single glance. His good looks, effortless grades, and princely manners made him a shoo-in for the position of campus boyfriend. People loved to talk about him, no matter what program or year they were in. And you'd been decorating cupcakes with him, completely unaware until the final clue fell into place. Who fucking cares? Treat him like a person.
But seriously, what do I have to do to get a cupcake early?
Jamie shook his head, placing the last freshly baked cupcake into an empty rack. Jamie shook his head, placing the last freshly baked cupcake onto the empty rack. Automatically, he picked up a cooled one, typing half a rose as he spoke. They're not finished.
Well, not all of them. What about that one?
They leaned forward, lifting a hand to either point at the cupcake in Jamie's hand or reach for it outright. Jamie stepped back and they pulled their hand away, sucking in a breath that turned into a slight chuckle.
Oh, just kidding.
See how hard you're working on that one?
Are there any rejects lying around?
I'd be pretty surprised if there were.
Yeah, good point. Like Jamie Porter even messes up anything.
The atmosphere in the kitchen had chilled since the volunteers had come in, but neither of them seemed to notice. Why can I not just kick them out? Glancing at Jamie, you notice he was studiously avoiding eye contact with everyone in the room, you included. There must be something you could do. This was getting ridiculous. Time to tattle on the volunteers to Deja. There was a tactful way to address this. Maybe they were overwhelmed by the jobs they were given. Okay, enough was enough. These volunteers had to go and you'd sent them on their way. Were they really that tone deaf? You let them know they were making Jamie uncomfortable. No, I'm just gonna kick them the fuck out. Failed confidence check.
Failed!
Fuck! Okay. Hey, how many cupcakes are there on the rack? You broke abruptly into conversation, waiting for one of the volunteers to look at you before jerking your chin towards the counter.
What?
Just count them.
Like 20 maybe?
Let's say 24, and how many racks are there? Watching him glance across the wire racks, lined up on the counter, you clicked your tongue, crossing your arms and shifting your weight. Multiply those together and you see the problem. Can either of you decorate 4 cupcakes in a minute? Don't answer. You said earlier you couldn't. The other student opened their mouth, but you bowled onward, your voice an unimpressed drawl. So really, it looks like you have work to be doing elsewhere, if you don't mind. What's your problem?
What are you, a shitty math teacher? Just say you want us to get out already.
If you don't mind, I need to keep working.
It was Jamie's turn to interrupt. He slid a rack of cupcakes onto the kitchen island, pointedly keeping them out of the volunteer's reach. But when you looked up to the 3 of you, an unwelcoming feeling of awkwardness crawled down your spine.
Oh, it's no bother, you can...
I'm afraid it's more crowded than I prefer.
They're looking back like... You left it at that. This level stare saying the rest. Reluctantly, the 2 volunteers trailed through the dining area, glancing over their shoulders at Jamie, every few steps, as if he'd change his mind. So, we'll catch you later then.
See you at the party.
Finally, the back door shut behind them, and the kitchen was quiet. In the wake of the departure, Jamie let out a slow, calm breath. I can't say I didn't warn you. Well, at least, I guess they'd hate doing math enough to leave. With a blunt shrug, you rejoined him at the counter and picked up a piping bag. You'd been called worse in more heated conversations than this, and at least intruders had left in the end. You said the quiet part out loud. Not necessarily a bad thing. Jimmy shrugged noncommittally, sliding a fresh rack of cupcakes between you. In any case, I do appreciate you trying to help. And failing. You're welcome. He reached over, dotting 3 simple leaves onto the edge of your cupcake in a second gesture of thanks. Jimmy stepped away for a moment, checking whether the final batch of cupcakes was still warm. You stayed to the side, finding a steady rhythm and piping some flowers in quick, careful succession. You glanced at him once or twice as you worked, noting the way he angled his face away from you. Now that he knew you knew who he was, there was a wariness in his posture that hadn't been there before. He's Jamie Potter after all, and you'd practically thrown yourself under the bus to get the other volunteers out of the house. If there was a time for you to go all starry-eyed on him, it'd be now. He didn't want others finding him in the house, for that very simple reason, and thinking back, Reina's hesitation when she'd sent you here made complete sense. How many are left on your side? He asked you a throwaway question, and you glanced away to count the cupcakes within reach. Even if you were trying to keep your cool, the musical lilt of his voice was hard to ignore. Fewer than 10 left, not too bad. It does go surprisingly quickly, provided there are no distractions. When he looked at you, he had a small smile on. The same polite peach crescent that he'd greeted you with when you first met him. It didn't look like there were any hard feelings about everything that had happened, at least on the surface. Maybe he did wait for you to finish more cupcakes on your side before you reached over to start adding any details, but he did add them. For all intents and purposes, you had your workflow back. The number of undecorated cupcakes dwindled steadily, and you even tried your hand at a few leaves and vines once you felt up to it. Eventually, Jamie tapped his fingers on the counter, breaking her focus. Okay, the last batch needs another 10 to 15 minutes to cool, so you can finish up and then get back to Reina.
You sure? I can stick around.
It's fine. You can tell Reina I'll be finished in time.
You couldn't really hold it against him. If he wanted some time to himself, it was a good time as any to get back to the others. Then I'll go let her know. Thanks for helping me help you.
Of course.
You left through the back door, making sure to lock it behind you. Immediately, you were hit by a wave of sound. Chatter and clatter in equal measure. The students hustled back and forth across the lawn. Jeez, you knew Reina went hard at the school's sanctioned events, but you didn't think she'd go so far for a trial run. And speaking of, skirting around groups of other students, you looked high and low, circling around the most crowded parts of the yard. Towards the back, the property transitioned into a riverbank. It was there that you spotted Reina, standing under a grand willow tree with her hand on her chin. There she was, time to check in. Oh, this was a prime time for a little prank. Nah, I'm gonna leave her alone. Reina seems a bit serious. Reina.
Kana, my dear.
She looked over her shoulder, her signature smile blooming on her lips as she spun on a ball of her feet.
Okay, so how'd everything go?
Your eyes slid to one side as you cobbled a summary together as briefly as you could. Well, I may have had to let some people in to use the restroom.
Oh dear, they're not still in there, are they?
No, they left. Eventually.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, your friend said it'd definitely be done on time, and that's why I'm back.
You were careful not to state said friend's name out loud.
Reina arched an eyebrow, and a knowing glint entered her eye as she held her hand out for you to return her spare key.
And how'd you get along with that friend of mine?
The rumors were right. That man was unfairly hot, and you were thankful for it. Whatever the rumors said, he'd been kind of cold. Mean, even. What the fuck? Reina had put it best. He was skittish, and for a good reason. You were a little relieved and a little bemused by how normal he'd seemed. You'd helped him because Reina asked you to, and you didn't really care for his company past that. It's good that he's normal. For everything I heard about him, he's kind of just a guy. That's how I feel about every guy.
In an okay way?
I mean, I don't really know why people make a fuss. It was just, making flowers, being him, seemed fine.
I see. Well, you were gone a while, so I trust you're the reason he'll do just fine. Thanks.
Reina clapped her hands softly together, bobbing on her feet as she slipped back into administration mode.
There's one more thing. Camp's getting the food started, so you can join them and help man the grills for a while.
The grills? Suddenly Reina's smile looked a lot more nefarious. You do know about...
I do. I have the opinion they deserve as many chances to improve as it takes.
What is happening? But, Reina.
And besides, I'm sending you to look after them, aren't I?
Please, Cameron, don't burn everything down. You're an enabler.
Always. Now go before they burn something.
You were off like a shoot, zipping between tables and students while trying to keep a calm face. Cameron wasn't a bad cook at all. The problem was they'd be working near an open flame. You would go as far as to say they were pyromaniac, but, well, they tended to call fires pretty, and they had a fondness of staring right into them. You could smell coal catching. Oh no. Skidding onto the scene, you whipped an accusatory finger up to point at a certain ill-assigned grillmaster. Cameron, no! Cameron yelped, spinning around with their hands and a pair of thongs held towards the sky. Connor, I was just... You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you during our next department meeting. Bruh, I haven't even started grilling yet. You're still in violation of the Magna Carta by being within 5 feet of an open flame. Aw, you don't have to invoke that, do you? The grill covers the fire, so... They deflated with a dramatic sigh, looking at you with furtive hope.
You, Deja, and Cam had a number of binding agreements between you, thanks to various incidents over the past 2 years. The Magma Carta was one of the more serious ones. That didn't mean there wasn't room for leniency, of course. You just had to be sure it was safe leniency. Well, the good news is Reina sent me to help you. Just promise to take this seriously. Cam's eyes sparkled and I pressed a cold fist to the chest, nodded and turned to find your apron. You were officially on the line with trusty Cameron as your head chef. And we're off. Fire at will. Just kidding. Kebabs and burger patties hit the grates with a chorus of happy hisses and Cameron clicked the tongs gleefully. The air quickly filled with a smell of cooking meat and volunteers all over the yard started to perk up. Fooding the grill, of course, meant that prep time was winding down and the party would be starting soon. The end was within sight. Or within scent. Now we're at a barbecue. Connor, grab that tray. Yep. With your own pair of tongs, you piled skewers and patties in rows, swapping out trays as you needed. Cameron flipped a fresh batch on right afterward. And working together, you had the first of several buffet tables stocked in no time. Then came the vegetarian options. The mixed skewers, the hot dogs, the buns. Tray by tray, stack by stack, you worked in tandem, trading easy jokes and laughs under this cheerful spring sun.
It's time, people. We're gonna have guests arriving soon.
The squeak of a megaphone drew your eye to where Reina stood, whipping one hand overhead as she waited for everyone to turn her way. She wore a wide, brave smile, and the crowd naturally hushed as the student government waited for the president to speak.
No time for pep talks. I appreciate you all for being here, and I have no doubt this is gonna be a great event. Let's keep our heads in the game, but let's also have fun, okay? Now on three, we all scream, "Let's go chickadees!" 1, 2.
Let's go, chickadees! And the party was on. Volunteers dispersed with loud cheers and music started to play from speakers set up on the lawn. There was an answering cheer from outside, and the first guests came through the gate in droves.
Welcome everyone! I know I asked you to come hungry, but give our crew a little more time, and that way we'll have something ready for everyone. Dance, play, run, have fun, go on!
Rena's voice blared through the megaphone once more, effortlessly steering all the new arrivals away and saving you and Cameron from an untimely, ignoble end. You glanced at each other with rueful grins. But before you could pick up the next tray, the SGB press herself popped up right next to you.
Hello, my little helpers!
In a flash, she held both sets of tongs in her hands, clicking them as she nudged you both aside.
I'd say you've earned your freedom.
Finally!
Yes, I released thee.
With a quick celebration high five, you and Cameron set about untying your aprons.
May you remember your lesson, my reformed friends. The next time you guys think about cheating, don't.
That or we could just be better liars. Hear ye, hear ye.
I'm still right here.
We're kidding, Ray. Mostly.
Hey, Nako.
I don't know what that means.
Data should be around the fire pit if you're looking for her. You'll play, frolic, so forth.
Frolic?
It's a large backyard, so what your heart desires now be gone.
With a final wave of her scepter, tongs, Reina turned back to the grill. Nearly dismissed, you and Cameron hustled back towards the riverbank, circling around the crowds until you reached an area strewn with lawn chairs. Nisha was right at the center, lounging with her bare feet kicked up on the edge of an unlit fire pit. Brace for impact! You barely raised your voice, but Cam wasn't exactly subtle as they scampered over with a wicked giggle.
Cam, don't you dare!
This warning fell on gleefully deaf ears, and Cameron skidded onto their knees and flopped over her legs. She set about ruffling their hair for revenge, smiling dryly as you walked up. I see you're both free at last. Well, claimed your second law chair, Deja lowered her head, a faint frown crossing her face. Cameron, why do you smell like smoke? Because I was cooking? Traced a single eyebrow and Cameron sat up to pass the buck, scrambling away to perch on the armrest with a mischievous laugh. Connor was supervising. Fire was very pretty. I'm kidding. Rena put us both on grill duty for a bit. And before that, I was helping prep the food too, putting all the skewers together and stuff. You didn't get a break after moving the groceries? I got like 5 minutes, I swear. We'd be caught actually cheating. I don't even want to think about it. What were you up to, Connor? I was indoors decorating cupcakes. What? That sounds way more fun than work. Not necessarily. I'm going to guess it was an unholy amount of cupcakes. Something like that. The impulse flickered briefly into your head to reveal who you'd been helping, but if I could raise the point, Cameron stretched over on the grass with a cozy sigh. Oh, well, we finally get a little downtime. Deja, how about you? Your mate grimaced gently, gesturing down at where her heels lay abandoned under the chair. After I was done delegating, Ren asked me to bring care packages to her neighbors, to apologize for all the party noise. I guess it gave her more time to sneak around and reset a scavenger hunt too. We are unfortunately playing on the level. Hey, check it out, 10 o'clock. You glanced casually to one side, spotting 2 people setting up a volleyball net on the riverbank. Nearby, a third person stacked spare cases of drinks, establishing the corners of a makeshift court. I hate to say it, but that looks like a safety issue. They're all adults. Besides, it looks like they know what they're doing. As Deja waved her hand lazily, one of the strangers spun a volleyball in their hands, laughing at something their friends were saying. Certainly did look like they were in their element. Why haven't we ever played volleyball? That was a joke, right? I'm going to assume it was a joke. Deja's easygoing smile chilled and you smothered a small chuckle. Did you forget who you're hanging with? Deja doesn't do sports. Empathetically, for multiple reasons. Cameron shrugged, absentmindedly ripping up a handful of grass to fiddle with. Come on, volleyball's fun. What's so fun about it? All sports are the same. You run around, you sweat, you go home. Okay, no, I like some sports and some suck, and volleyball sucks because the ball just hurts your hands. It's way more than that. For one thing, the players are in different positions and everyone's got their own strengths. So you have to build a team first. And then you're down to things like, okay, are you a quick tempo team or are you built around your libero? Around your what? And then if you're an aggressive team, what happens if your rivals are aggressive? Or what if they're really defensive? Then you've got to adjust on the fly and then the whole time you've got to keep the ball moving like boom and blam and shoot! Cameron, this is coming from, how come you know so much about volleyball now? Anime. Yes, exactly. Cameron, it's anime. In real life, I'm gonna sit in the shade and I'm gonna relax. It wouldn't kill you to get your heart rate up a little, D. He laughed softly to dispel the rising tension and Deja gave you a sharp look before her expression softened into something calmer. Cameron had caught on as well and they eased off the pressure, turning to you instead with a rueful shrug. Wait, have you actually played before? I haven't. Begrudgingly, I had to play in school and I hated it. I mean, beach volleyball is fun if you have a light ball, but if you have a real volleyball, then it just hurts you. Yeah, I played before. Oh, then we should play sometime. I mean, not today. Maybe Fate was listening though, since in the next instant, you heard rapid footfalls on the soft grass. Running up to you was one of the volleyball players. The one who'd had the ball.
Hey, how's it going?
The one with the face portrait. With a stranger in the mix, Cameron immediately clammed up. Out of the corner of your eyes, you noticed them slipping down to sit awkwardly on their hands, shredded grass and all. And they just settled smoothly into their respective roles without missing a beat.
We're fine. Was there something you needed?
Exactly, why are you just walking up to us? And I'm so Cameron, when a stranger walks up to me, I'm also like, okay, can my friends please handle this? Who is this person? What? Don't talk to me.
Oh, yeah, I'm Elio, he/him.
He stuck a hand out and you took it for a brief second. Why are we shaking hands? Connor, they him pronouns. That's Deja.
She, her, thanks.
And this is Cameron, they them. Cameron meekly nodded, not quite making eye contact as they mustered a small smile.
Nice to meet you all. So hey,
Leo jabbed a thumb over his shoulder, pointing to a volleyball court with a bright grin.
my buddies and I are gearing up for a game, and, well, 2-on-1 isn't exactly an even match. Any chance you three would want to play? Just for fun, no points. Unless you want them.
At the glint of his eye, you had half a feeling he actually preferred to play for points, no matter what he said. It was Cameron's golden opportunity, practically falling into your laps, but when you looked at them, Cam was staring down at the legs, looking a little shaky. And tell you what, give us a quick minute to decide.
No prob. You know where to find me.
Elliot took back to his friends, and at your beckoning, Deja helped you nudge Cameron up and towards a big willow tree, its trailing branches giving you some privacy from the rest of the party. Cam, weren't you just saying you wanted to play? Yeah, never mind. I changed my mind. Hands fisted in the hem of their hoodie, Cameron kept staring straight down at her feet. All traces of early excitement snuffed completely out. It's so different doing something with your friends and doing something with strangers. I also would not want to play with strangers. Cam, if this is because... No, I know you don't like sports. Forget I said anything. I got carried away. It's fine. We can sit. I don't want to play. You and Deja exchanged silent looks. It was never easy seeing Cameron freeze up like this. The problem was that this particular wish involved physical exertion, which Deja loathed with perfect simplicity. Cameron was already backtracking, and so, as a friend to them both, you merely had to contribute a little change of perspective. How about this? What are the odds we play volleyball today? Deja paused, tilting her head with a thoughtful sound. More importantly, Cameron paused too, and actually picked up at you, starting to look cautiously interested. Free? Free? Man. It could be worse, at least it's not 2. 33% chance is still 33 more than I'd prefer, but... She shrugged gracefully, shredded her veneer with hesitation, sliding her hair back over one shoulder. Them's the rules. Them's the rules. Them's the rules. What are the odds, Watto? It's a game you, Deja, and Cam play. There are 2 ways for Watto to start. You prompt someone to play, or a character prompts you. The prompter asks, what are the odds of an action that they want to see the prompted do? The prompted gives a number between 1 and 10. The higher the number, the lower the chances. The 2 count down and then say a number between 1 and the response, example 1 and 5. If they choose the same number, the prompted has to do what they asked of them. If they didn't, then nothing happens. Okay, so Cam, it's you and me. Ready? In 3, 2, 1. Please type the number from 1 to 3. Please enter when you're done. I'm gonna say 3. 3. Well. Oh, nice. Before they could help themselves, they hopped, finding some of that excitement from earlier, as they let a laugh out unbidden. To the side, Deja smiled and shook her head. It was impossible to be upset if they were going to be this endearing about it. For the record, you don't have to back down when it comes to us. I know, I just didn't want to push you. It's not fun if I'm the only one who wants to be there. You gonna be okay? They took a breath and let go of their hoodie, nodding as they lifted their head. Yeah, I want to try. I have both of you, so it's not as terrifying, I think. I can be scarier than them if you need me to. I'll let you know if I do. How will the volleyball game go? What is gonna happen? Who are we gonna date? Oh no! If you like this episode, please comment, subscribe, like this video, and please let me know if you want to see more of this game. I really like it, but I can only post more parts of it if enough people like it. So let me know. Anyway, that was me. I'll see you next time. Love you. Bye!